It was a quiet morning at the Earth Space Monitoring Station near the coast of Maine. The sun was rising, and the sky was a soft orange. Birds flew past the windows, and everything felt calm. Inside the station, people were at their desks, watching screens and checking signals from space. Nora Bennett was sitting at her console, sipping coffee. She had short brown hair and sharp eyes that never missed a detail. She was a communications officer and had worked at the station for 5 years. Most days were quiet, with only a few strange signals that turned out to be nothing. But today was different. At 6:42 a.m., Nora noticed something unusual on her screen. A signal was coming through, but it was not one she had seen before. It didn't match any known satellite or ship from Earth. It repeated in a pattern, almost like it was trying to talk. She leaned closer, her fingers moving quickly over the keyboard. "This isn't from us," she whispered. She called over her supervisor, Commander Paul Hughes. He was in his early 50s with gray hair and a calm voice. He came over and looked at her screen. After a moment, he nodded slowly. "Alert the command center." "This is first contact," he said. Soon, the whole station was busy. People rushed to check the signal, and others tried to clean it up to understand it better. The signal kept coming, steady and strong. After 2 hours, a message was translated. It said, "We come in peace. We wish to meet." At 9:15 a.m., something even more surprising happened. A massive alien ship appeared in orbit above Earth. It was larger than anything humans had ever built. It had a smooth silver surface and a soft blue glow. People around the world watched in shock as news spread quickly. World leaders held emergency meetings. Scientists and military officials gathered to decide what to do. The alien race called themselves the Varelians. They said they were from a star system far away and had been watching Earth for some time. They wanted to talk. They said they were part of a large group of planets called the Galactic Union. They said Earth had finally reached the stage to be considered for entry. But it became clear very quickly that they did not think highly of humans. The Varelians looked tall and strong, with silver blue skin and glowing eyes. Their voices were soft but cold. They spoke perfect English, using translation devices. They met with human leaders and said they wanted to learn more about Earth. But in private, their attitude was different. Nora listened to a private message sent between 2 Varelian ships. It had not been meant for humans to hear, but the monitoring team picked it up. The message said, "These humans are weak. Their minds are small, and their weapons are old. This will be easy." Nora felt a chill run down her back. She reported it to Commander Hughes, who frowned and told her to keep it quiet for now. Meanwhile, the Varelians visited many places on Earth. They toured cities, universities, and museums. They smiled and acted friendly, but behind their eyes, there was a clear sense of superiority. In one meeting with the United Nations, a Varelian named Commander Vornak said, "Your species is young. You have potential, but you are not yet strong. We will guide you." Many people felt uneasy. Something about the aliens felt wrong, even though they hadn't attacked or made threats. Major Ethan Cole, a military officer in charge of security during the visits, kept his eyes on them. He noticed their body language, the way they looked at people, and how they scanned everything carefully. Ethan spoke quietly to Nora one evening. "They think we're weak," he said. "Let's hope they don't try to find out otherwise." Nora nodded. Deep down, she knew something big was coming, and the world would never be the same again. A few days after the alien ship arrived, a group of Varelian envoys came down to Earth. They said they wanted to see human life for themselves. They wanted to check if humans were ready to join the Galactic Union. People around the world were excited and nervous. Cameras followed the aliens everywhere. The Varelians were tall and calm. They moved slowly and spoke politely, but their eyes showed no emotion. They'd visited different countries. They saw schools, hospitals, and parks. They met with scientists, artists, and children. They asked many questions, but they always looked unimpressed. In New York City, one of the Varelians said, "You have music and art, but your ways are simple. You do not understand energy the way we do." At a science center in Japan, another alien said, "Your machines are old. Your medicine is slow. Your people still get sick from small things." Many humans began to feel small. The aliens were polite, but they made people feel weak and behind. Still, Earth leaders tried to stay hopeful. They thought maybe this was the first step to something greater. The Varelians also wanted to see Earth's military power. They said it was part of the test for joining the Galactic Union. They were taken to several army bases and shown tanks, helicopters, and jets. At each place, they watched with quiet faces. In Texas, a Varelian named Commander Vornak looked at a fighter jet and laughed softly. "This is like a toy," he said. "It makes noise and smoke, but it is slow and weak." The soldiers who heard him did not speak, but their faces showed anger. Major Ethan Cole, who was in charge of security again, stood nearby. He watched the aliens closely. He could tell they did not respect Earth's defenses. They looked at everything like it was a joke. Later, Ethan met with General Scott Palmer, one of the top military leaders in the country. They spoke in a private room away from the aliens. "They don't see us as equals," Ethan said. "I know," General Palmer replied. "They think we're harmless. That's what makes them dangerous." "What if they're not just visiting?" Ethan asked. "What if this is just the beginning?" "That's why we have to stay ready," the general said, "even if they don't think we are." Back in Washington, President Laura Green held a meeting with world leaders. The mood was tense. Everyone had seen the way the aliens looked down on humans. Some leaders wanted to try harder to impress them. Others said it was better to stay careful. One advisor said, "They act like friends, but they speak like rulers." President Green nodded. "We must not forget who we are. We may not be the strongest, but we will not bow to them." While the aliens continued their tour, Nora Bennett worked in the background, still listening to their signals. She recorded messages that showed the Varelians were still watching Earth's weapons closely. They seemed especially interested in satellite systems and hidden bases. Nora shared this with Commander Paul Hughes. "They are looking for weaknesses," she said. "And maybe planning something," he added. Major Ethan Cole was asked to stay close to the alien group. He traveled with them from place to place. Every night, he wrote notes about their actions. He noticed they scanned buildings and used small floating devices to take secret pictures. One night, he stood on a rooftop, watching a Varelian ship float above a military base. The ship moved silently, its lights glowing faintly. "They're testing us," he said to himself. The next morning, a satellite went offline. It was one of Earth's top defense satellites. No warning, no signal, just gone. People thought it was a technical issue, but Nora and Ethan knew better. This was not an accident. It was a message. The aliens were not just here to visit. They were watching, and they were waiting for something. Days passed, and the Varelians were still on Earth. People were starting to feel more worried. The aliens had not done anything violent, but they watched everything closely. They asked more questions about Earth's satellites, weapons, and defense systems. It felt less like a visit and more like a test. Then one morning, something happened. A human satellite that watched space movements was hit. It stopped working without warning. Experts checked the system and said it was not a technical problem. The satellite had been shut down by an outside force. There was no doubt now. Someone had done it on purpose. In a private meeting, President Laura Green spoke with her top military leaders. General Scott Palmer, Major Ethan Cole, and other officers sat around a large table. The mood was tense. "We have to face the truth," the president said. "The Varelians disabled that satellite. They want to show us they are in control." "It was a warning," said General Palmer. "They're testing our response. They want to see if we're afraid." "We need to act," said Colonel Rachel Adams, one of the smartest military minds in the room. "We can't show fear. If we do nothing, they'll think we're weak." The president nodded. "It's time to use Protocol Sentinel." Most people in the room were silent. Very few knew about Protocol Sentinel. It was a secret plan created years ago. Only top leaders knew it existed. The plan was made in case Earth faced a powerful enemy from space. "Are you sure, ma'am?" Ethan asked. "That plan has never been used." "I'm sure," President Green said. "We've been too quiet. It's time to show them we're not just farmers and dreamers. We're defenders." Later that night, secret orders were sent around the world. Special bases hidden deep underground were activated. Old systems were turned on, and new machines came to life. Scientists and engineers who had worked in secret now stood ready. The next day, Virelian ships made strange moves in Earth's orbit. One ship came lower than ever before, flying close to a hidden defense base in the mountains of Colorado. The base had a false front, made to look like an old storage area. The Virelians sent a message to Earth. "We are curious about this area. We will visit it now." Earth leaders knew this was not a friendly visit. It was a challenge. Major Ethan Cole was sent to the base. He arrived quickly and met with the team in charge. The base was not what it seemed. Behind the false walls was a high-tech command center filled with powerful weapons and advanced computers. When the Virelians landed, they expected to see old machines, but what they saw was very different. The doors of the base opened slowly, and underground hangars rose from the ground. Inside were stealth aircraft with sharp wings and dark armor. There were flying drones, laser systems, and defense turrets. General Palmer stepped forward to greet the Virelians. "Welcome to Artemis Command," he said. "This is one of many." The Virelians were silent. For the first time, they looked unsure. Commander Vornak looked at one of the machines. "These are not what we expected," he said quietly. "We know," General Palmer replied. "You thought we were weak. But we've been ready. We just didn't show you." The Virelians said nothing more. They left the base without another word. But their silence spoke loudly. Later, Ethan stood with Nora Bennett, who had arrived to help with communication. They watched the alien ship rise into the sky. "They saw what we wanted them to see," Ethan said. "Do you think they'll stop?" Nora asked. Ethan shook his head. "No, but now they know. We're not just watching. We're ready." The world waited for what would come next, but one thing had changed. The Virelians no longer saw humans as weak. The Virelians were not happy after their visit to the secret base. They had seen something they did not expect. For days, they stayed silent. Their ships remained in orbit, but they made no new moves. On Earth, leaders were also quiet. But inside command centers, everyone was getting ready. At Artemis Command, new orders were given. Bases around the world were told to prepare for more visits. Drones flew across the sky, scanning for strange signals. Soldiers trained harder. Scientists worked day and night to improve the weapons hidden for so long. Major Ethan Cole met with General Palmer again. They stood inside a control room filled with screens and maps. "They're planning something," Ethan said. "Yes," the general replied. "And now they know we're not weak. That makes them more careful, but also more dangerous." Then, a message came from one of the radar stations in Alaska. A Virelian scout ship had left orbit. It was heading toward a small military base in the Nevada desert. This base was supposed to be quiet and simple, just a supply post. But under it was something more. President Green was informed quickly. She agreed to let the Virelians land again. "Let them see it," she said. "We're not hiding anymore." As the alien ship arrived, soldiers stood ready. The sun was hot, and the air was dry. The base looked normal from the outside. Old buildings, dusty roads, and parked trucks made it seem boring. But when the Virelians landed, something happened. The ground began to move. Large metal doors slid open. The ground split apart to show an entrance. From deep below, machines rose into the light. The Varelians watched in silence. First came tall defense towers with blue lights. Then a row of dark aircraft lifted into the air. These were not normal planes. They made no sound and moved with smooth power. Inside the base, Commander Lily Cross greeted the aliens. She was smart, calm, and had trained for this moment. "You wanted to see our true strength," she said. "Now you will." She led them into the underground base. It was wide and clean, filled with weapons, computers, and robots. Everything looked new. Everything looked ready. The aliens said nothing. They walked slowly, their glowing eyes scanning everything. Commander Vornak looked worried. One of the engineers, Leo Ramirez, showed them a defense system that could shoot targets in space. He explained how it worked in simple words. "We didn't show this before because we hoped we wouldn't need it," Leo said. "But we built it in case we did." The Varelians asked questions. They wanted to know how humans made such machines. They wanted to know how long Earth had been building these things. "For many years," Commander Cross said. "All nations worked together. We kept it secret. Now it's time you knew." Outside, Nora Bennett stood with Ethan, watching the alien ship. She listened to her headset and heard a strange message. It came from one of the Virelian ships above Earth. "They are not as weak as we believed. Their power is hidden, but it is real." Nora shared the message with Ethan. He looked at the ship. "Now they see us differently," he said. "But will they respect us or fear us?" The next day, news spread across Earth. Pictures of the machines and bases were released to the public. People were shocked and proud. They had always thought Earth was far behind. Now they knew the truth. In space, the Virelian Council met on their ship. They spoke in their own language. Some wanted to leave Earth alone. Others still thought humans were a risk. Commander Vornak gave his report. "They are not simple. They are not weak. We must decide what to do next." Back on Earth, President Green looked at the sky from her office. "Let them think. Let them watch," she said. "We are ready." The waiting had begun again. But this time, Earth was not afraid. The silence from the Varelians continued for several days. Their ships stayed in orbit, but they did not visit any more Earth bases. Humans waited, unsure what would happen next. People all over the world talked about the hidden strength of Earth. News channels showed videos of powerful machines and secret bases. Some people were proud. Others were scared. Major Ethan Cole walked through Artemis Command, checking on the defense teams. Everyone was alert. No one knew if the aliens would attack or leave. Ethan met with Nora Bennett in the communications room. "Any new messages?" he asked. "Only short ones between their ships," Nora said. "They are not speaking to us now. They are speaking to each other." "Are they angry?" he asked. "They are confused," she said. "They thought we were behind them. Now they're not so sure." At the same time, the Varelians were holding a private meeting aboard their main ship. The ship floated high above Earth, hidden behind clouds. Inside, Commander Vornak stood before a large round table. Other Varelians sat in silence. "We made a mistake," Vornak said. "Humans are not weak. They are not simple. Their technology is strong. Their people are united." One Virelian elder said, "Should we leave?" Another said, "No, they are still young. If we leave now, they may grow stronger and become a danger later." The Varelians could not agree. Some wanted peace, others wanted control. In the end, they chose to test humans one last time. A message was sent to Earth. It came through Nora's screen. To the leaders of Earth, the message said, "We wish to hold a demonstration. One of your bases will be challenged. No harm will come if you pass, but if you fail, we will take control of the area." The message was clear. It was not a friendly test. It was a threat. President Green held a meeting right away. Her voice was calm, but her face was serious. "They want to scare us," she said. "They want to see if we'll run. But we will not. General Palmer nodded. We must choose the right base, one that's ready, one that can show our strength. The base chosen was Falcon Station, hidden in the mountains of Norway. It was small but well prepared. The team there was smart, trained, and calm under pressure. Major Ethan Cole was sent to lead the defense. He arrived by aircraft and met the base commander, Captain Olivia Brooks. She was young but strong and confident. Are we ready for this? Ethan asked. We've trained for years, Olivia said. We won't back down. The next morning, the sky above Falcon Station turned dark. A large Virelian ship appeared. It dropped a sphere the size of a truck. The sphere glowed and floated in front of the base. A voice came from it. This is a simulation. You will be attacked. Defend your base. We will watch. The attack started. Small flying machines came from the sphere. They moved fast and fired energy blasts. But Falcon Station was ready. Defense turrets locked on and fired back. Drones flew out and met the attackers in the sky. Ethan and Olivia gave orders quickly. The base moved like a machine. Everyone worked together. The fight lasted for 20 minutes. Then the sphere stopped glowing. The flying machines froze in the air and dropped to the ground. The voice came again. Test complete. The Virelian ship rose back into the sky and disappeared. People at the base cheered. Ethan smiled for the first time in days. They tried to scare us, Olivia said, but we passed. Back in space, Commander Vornak watched the recording of the test. They are more than we thought, he said. For the first time, the Virelians began to see Earth not as a weak world, but as an equal. And on Earth, people no longer looked up in fear. They looked up with pride. After the test at Falcon Station, the world changed. People across Earth felt stronger. They had seen what humans could do. They had seen how brave and smart their soldiers were. For the first time, Earth was not just watching the stars. Earth was standing tall. President Green gave a short speech. Her voice was calm and proud. We have shown who we are, she said. We are not weak. We are not afraid. We are ready to protect our home. In space, the Virelians continued their meetings. Commander Vornak stood before the council again. He showed them the full recording of the Falcon Station test. The other Virelians watched in silence. They are more advanced than we thought, Vornak said. They worked as one. Their response was fast. Their defense was strong. Some council members were still unsure, but they are still young, still learning. Yes, Vornak replied, but they have something rare. They do not give up. They rise when pushed. That is power. Back on Earth, Major Ethan Cole returned to Artemis Command. He met with General Palmer in the war room. They won't try that again, Ethan said. Maybe not the same way, the general replied. But they're still up there, still watching. What if they're planning a real attack, not a test? Then we'll be ready. At the same time, Nora Bennett picked up a strange signal. She was in the communications lab, alone. The signal was soft but clear. It came from deep space, beyond the Virelian ships. She listened carefully and recorded the message. It was in the Virelian language, but she had learned some of their words. The message said, "Other forces are coming. The humans are not alone." Nora ran to Ethan. "There's something else out there," she said. "And it's not Virelian." Ethan shared the message with General Palmer and President Green. Everyone was shocked. Could it be another alien race? The president asked. Maybe, Palmer said. Or maybe something worse. They sent out probes to scan space beyond the Virelian ships. What they found surprised everyone. A large object was moving fast. It was not a Virelian ship. It was darker, heavier, and had a strange shape. Nora studied the scans. This ship is big, almost twice the size of a Virelian cruiser, and it's heading straight for Earth. The Virelians must have seen it too. Their ships began to move. Some started to power up weapons. Others flew closer to Earth. President Green sent a message to the Varelians. "We have seen the new object. If you have information, we ask you to share it. We are ready to defend Earth, but we would rather stand together than apart." For the first time, the Varelians replied with something other than orders or warnings. "This ship does not belong to us. It is not friendly. We have faced them before. Alone, we both will fall. Together, we may stand." General Palmer read the message and looked at Ethan. "Looks like we have a choice," he said. "Fight alone or fight together," Ethan replied. The message was clear. A new threat was coming. And this time, it was not a test. Across Earth, people began to prepare again. Bases were put on full alert. Ships rose into the sky. Satellites focused on the strange object. And for the first time, humans and Varelians began to speak as allies. Teams from both sides met in secret locations. They shared data and plans. Human engineers worked with Varelian scientists. Soldiers trained side by side. In space, the dark ship came closer. Its surface looked broken, like it had been in many battles. Lights flashed across it, but no messages came. It was silent and cold. Nora stood at her station and watched it grow on the screen. "It's not here to talk," she said. "It's here to attack." Ethan stood behind her. "Then we fight," he said. "Together." The final battle was coming. And this time, Earth was not standing alone. The dark ship reached Earth's orbit. It made no sound. It sent no messages. It just floated there, quiet and cold. But everyone knew it was dangerous. It had strange shapes on its surface, like scars from old battles. Its weapons were not visible, but they were there. On Earth, people watched the sky with fear and hope. Soldiers stood ready. Bases were on full alert. For the first time in history, humans were not alone. Varelian ships flew beside Earth's defense satellites. Human and alien crews worked together. Major Ethan Cole stood inside the main command center. He looked at the large screen that showed the dark ship. "It's waiting," he said. "But for what?" Nora Bennett sat beside him, listening to signals from space. Still nothing. "It doesn't talk. It just watches." Then the attack began. The dark ship fired first. A beam of red light shot out and hit a human satellite. It exploded into dust. Then small black drones flew out of the ship. They were fast, sharp, and deadly. Human and Varelian ships moved in. Lasers and missiles filled the sky. The battle had begun. In space, the Varelian commander Vornak led a group of fighters. He gave quick orders in his language, but his voice was calm. "Protect the human side. Hold the line." Human pilots flew with great skill. They dodged the enemy drones and hit back with power. Some ships were lost, but the line held. Back on Earth, President Green watched from a hidden command center. Her hands were tight on the table. She knew this was the moment everything could change. "If we lose this," she said, "we lose everything." On the front lines, Ethan and Nora worked with the defense systems. They tracked the dark drones and helped guide Earth's weapons. Then something strange happened. The dark ship began to change shape. Its surface opened, and a larger weapon came out. It aimed at Earth. "It's going to fire," Nora shouted. General Palmer gave the order. "All ships, focus on the main gun. Take it down now." Human and Varelian forces moved as one. Missiles flew. Energy blasts hit the ship. The dark gun began to charge with red light. Then one brave pilot flew straight toward the weapon. It was a human. Her name was Captain Leah Morgan. She sent a message, "I'm going in." For Earth. Her ship was small, but fast. She dodged the fire from the drones and got close to the dark gun. She fired everything she had. Her ship exploded right next to the weapon. The blast hit the dark gun hard. It shook and cracked. The red light faded. The weapon was damaged. The other ships followed. They attacked the weak spot again and again. Finally, the dark ship began to break. Pieces fell off. The drone stopped flying. In space, the dark ship let out one last pulse of red light. Then it went dark, silent.